Hey YouTube, Vinny M here, and welcome to another video here on the channel. Today we're going to be doing another World War II history video, and in today's video we're going to be unwrapping an original Carlisle dressing that was manufactured sometime between mid-1944 and the end of the war around 1945. The Carlisle dressing underwent many different packaging variations. If it was used in a hospital or an aidman or surgical technician type setting in one of their bags or one of the hospital carts, it was typically a cardboard box such as this with a cellophane wrapped bandage on the inside to give it some water resistance, this particular one being dated September 18th of 42. If it was in a frontline soldier's aid pouch, it was typically going to be in a metal tin or a foil wrapped package. The metal tins were what was used prior to mid-1943, and the foil packs were after mid-1943. And then there was some oddities in between when they were trying to figure out what to do to stop using the metal tins and save that metal for the war effort. They did try plastic tins such as this one and waxed boxes such as this one. They didn't like either one of those. They ended up settling on lead and aluminum foil. That's right, the bandage meant to save your life could be wrapped in lead. Initially, the tins did not have sulfanilamide in them. Then they put sulfanilamide in the bandage tins with the bandage, and then in late 1944 they stopped putting sulfanilamide with the bandages yet again. So very early war will not have it, and very late war will not have it, and everything in between will. Also, the bandages were initially white in color, and then later on they decided to dye them brown to make them more camouflage. The bandage we're going to be opening today is the small battle dressing camouflage sterilized Carlisle model manufactured by the Guild Foundation of New York, New York. It is one of the later war variants, probably manufactured between mid-44 and the end of the war. It is probably going to be lead. It could be aluminum. We'll see what it looks like when we get it open. And it is not labeled that this one contains sulfanilamide, another indication that it's probably late war. Now, some of them didn't say they had sulfanilamide, but they still did. So it'll be interesting to see if this one does or doesn't, but I suspect it does not. One of the issues inherent to these bandages is the pouch that they were designed to go in had this big lift the dot snap, which on the back had this big grommet. That would over time rip into the bandages and dent the tins. As you can see, this tin here is already got a little bit of a dent and some damage from sitting there in that. The Army knew that these lead and aluminum wrapped bandages that came out in mid-43 would be damaged by that snap, so they actually encased them in cardboard sleeves. So this is the exact bandage we're going to open. So the first thing you have to do is get it out of the cardboard sleeve and out onto the table. So without further ado, we'll get this thing opened. This is the Guild Foundation of New York, New York green packaged Carlisle bandage. You may have noticed in the ones I had a minute ago there was also a brown package. So they changed their packaging a couple times. It was designed to be a tear open foil package. I do not know if this one is lead or if it is aluminum. These are not generally easy to open when they're this old because everything's kind of glued together, if you will. And the foil does not rip easy. Alright, that looks like lead foil to me. So, once you get it opened, it is covered in paper. So let me get this potential lead hazmat out of the way, and we'll get the paper unwrapped. So we got the lead foil cleaned up. I'm 99% sure that was lead foil. You can tell the difference because the lead foil will look kind of ununiform, almost like it has this texture to it, and it's a little bit duller color than the aluminum. So anytime you handle these bandages, you might as well just assume that they're probably lead foil, just to be on the safe side. Now the lead foil did come in contact with the paper, so I simply went ahead and opened it up so I don't have to touch that again, because I am going to use this bandage for display. So the paper is basically just brown parchment paper, and then once you get the bandage off of it, this is what you have. So this is an actual World War II Carlisle bandage, probably manufactured in 44, 45. So the way you open these is you kind of accordion them. So they should fold out, yep. Just like that. And I'm being careful with it because it is so old. Alright, so here we have the blood absorbing pad. This is called your dressing. The dressing goes on the wound. And you can see put other side next to wound is written on red ink on the fabric. So there is our blood absorbing pad, our dressing. And then what we have on the ends here are our runners. This is the bandage. So this is a combination dressing and bandage. And these Z-fold open like so, and eventually you get to a point where they're cut in a V. See that? On both ends. Now what you do is you put this on the wound, you hold pressure. You run these around the body, be it the arm, the leg, the head, whatever, and you bring them back around on both sides. And then you want to take your ends and you want to tie a knot directly over the center of the pad here. And when you tie that knot, that holds it in place and applies a little bit of pressure. The issue with these is that this is a very thin cheesecloth material. You can see my hand through it. And if you apply very much tension when you tie this, you will rip it. So you have to be really careful to tie this on without ripping the material. It's not like a modern pressure dressing where you can really pull on it, you can really put some force on it. It's not designed that way. It is designed just to hold the pad in place by means of putting a knot over the top of it and wrapping it into place. So something to be cognizant of. This is a very, very good condition one, which is going to look great in my medical display with very, very, very good visible writing on it. And essentially this bandage was the same throughout World War II. The only difference was that early on they were solid white with the red markings. The military at a certain point decided to start dyeing them brown so that if you opened them in the field you wouldn't have some gigantic bright white thing. They wanted them to be a light brown color so that have an element of camouflage to them. So the bandage stays the same throughout the war except for the color. So I hope you've enjoyed it. This one did not have the sulfanilamide shaker packet inside of it, which indicates that it's pretty late war. That's why I said it's probably pretty late 44, probably early 45 manufacture for it to not have any sulfanilamide in it. Some of these did. The early Johnson & Johnson one still had it, but this one did not. So hopefully you've enjoyed seeing this opened up, and maybe you'll get one for your own collection. That's all I have for you guys. As always, like and subscribe, and have a nice day.